What if Amoonguss and Shiinotic were in Gen 1 OU? This is going to be my first and potentially maybe even my last double feature, because these two are extremely similar. Both have been heavily requested, and they are I'm gonna be real with you, their replays are not fun. So I decided might as well kill two birds with one stone, because if I were to do a video on these guys, they would basically be identical. So I figured, since neither of these guys have like very fun replays anyways, I'll just go over both of them in the same video. So, Amoonguss, it is a mushroom. Shiinotic is also a mushroom, which these are things that we cannot deny. And it's also going to be important, because for both of these guys, we're going to have to compare them to another mushroom, the OG mushroom, that being Parasect. And we're going to be asking ourselves if these guys have a chance at being better than Parasect or not. Because all of them have the same thing in common. They have Spore, a 100% or 99% accurate in Gen 1 move that can put a Pokemon to sleep. They're grass types, and they are slow with 30 speed. All of them have some things that make them slightly different, so I guess we'll look at all of them. We'll look at Parasect last, because, like, obviously, we already know how good he is. But starting off with Amoonguss. Amoonguss is a grass and poison type, which ironically is by far the worst one out of all three of these for Gen 1. Which I know sounds crazy, because Parasect is infamous for having, like 3 quadruple weaknesses to fire, flying, and poison. But Amoonguss is worse, just for the metagame. Because even though Parasect has those quad weaknesses, in practice, it is only super worried about its ice weakness, and sometimes fire. Zapdos with Drill Peck is annoying, but for the most part, it's not really any flying moves being, like, you know, spammed. Not to mention, like, if your Parasect has to face Zapdos, you're probably losing anyways. And there's, like, literally no poison moves whatsoever. Now, for Grass Poison, you don't have any quad weaknesses, but you're weak to Ice, you're weak to Psychic, you're weak to Fire and Flying. And, like, for all of those, they're used by Pokemon that have extremely high crit rates. So Amoonguss is just not having a good time here. Its moveset would be Body Slam, which would be good, and you might have to use, but on just 85 attack, it is nothing to really write home about. It has Rest, which, like, you might use. Stun Spore, which you probably would use. Spore, which is the only reason you're using this thing in the first place. And then going down here with, like, some of the more, like, I guess other moves that I guess you might use. I don't think Hyper Beam is very good. And Mega Drain, you're probably using. I think it's, like, the main thing it has going for it, question mark. Like, there's, like, Soar Beam here, but I don't think you have Leech Seed. You have Growth, but it is nothing really that good. Amoonguss is just not hitting hard. Not like you really wanted to. So, like, Spore, Stun Spore, maybe Body Slam, so you can, like, do, like, 10% or something to Chansey. Then Mega Drain, or you replace Body Slam with Growth or something. Doesn't look very good. That does it. And skipping over Shiinotic, I'm just going to explain to you why Amoonguss would be a far worse version of Parasect. Just look at this right here, right? You see these moves? Look at Parasect, and also actually look at the actual stats. Well, they're like almost identical in many ways, except like Parasect has more defense, higher attack. Amoonguss has a lot more special, or not special, has a lot more HP, barely any more special. But looking at like Parasect moveset, It also has Body Slam and Growth, Mega Drain, and Hyper Beam. It also has Reflect, Slash, Sword Stance. And yes, I know, it's not fast enough to get a guaranteed crit with Slash. That's also why you have Sword Stance. And just look at this. This is just better. Like, I know I use Parasect on, like, the Gen 1 OU ladder unironically. So, like, Sword Stance alone makes it better than Amoonguss. And probably better than Shiinotic. But it's hard to tell exactly. But, like, so far, do you see any reason for Amoonguss to be better than Parasect? Because I don't really. Parasect has, ironically, the better typing and the far better move pool. It's not even funny. Now, as for Shiinotic, it's a very Pokemon that exists. Extremely so. We cannot deny that. But we can't deny its very typing. It is pretty useless in Gen 1. There's no dragon moves, there's only Dragon Rage, which in Gen 1 set moves are basically typeless. There is no good fighting types, no dark types whatsoever. So the fairy type defensively does nothing for you, and there's no dark fighting and dragon types in OU to use fairy moves on. So for all intents and purposes, Shiinotic is a pure grass type, with, again, very similar stats. However, it has, like, no attack points whatsoever and a pretty good special defense stat. So between the three, I would say it probably has the worst base stats out of all of them. But that's just my opinion. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments below. And it probably... Okay, it doesn't have a better moveset than Parasect with Sword Stance. But it definitely has more going for it than Amoonguss. It has Leech Seed, Light Screen, it has Sweet Powder, so not as good as Stun Spore, but it's still Gen 1, so it's still really good. I could have sworn it had Stun Spore. Maybe I was wrong. But Amnesia is interesting. Like, it almost makes me feel like maybe it's better than, Parasect. But also, like, what are you using Amnesia for exactly? Like, I think the only thing you have is just, like, Mega Drain? Well, yeah, you have Mega Drain. But I think that's it for your special moves. And yeah, here's Stun Spore down here. So, yeah, I don't really see anything else you really do with it. Oh, also, I missed Thunder Wave, but that's also, as you can imagine, really, really good. It's just a more consistent version of Executor, in that sense, where instead of Stun Spore, you have Thunder Wave and Sweet Powder. So, like, Leech Seed, Thunder Wave, Sweet Powder, obviously, and then just... Well, I guess it's Gen 1, you're not worried about Taunt. Now, someone correct me on this. Oh, wait, not Sweet Powder, Spore. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm being dumb right now. But someone correct me on this if I'm wrong, but isn't Strength Sap a signature move? If Strength Sap is a signature move, then obviously I'll allow Shiinotic to use it. And it's useful, don't get me wrong. It's nice that it can, like, lower a Pokemon's attack and heal. But this is probably the best moveset it has. Because Amnesia and Mega Drain doesn't really do much. Especially since you'd have to get rid of 2 move slots for that. And if Shiinotic has, like, no good way of really killing something, then... like, I don't really know what to tell you. It just sort of sits there. It's an annoying stally Pokemon. But I don't think Gen 1 really needs something like that. Because you have so many things that are, like, hitting powerful body slams and paralyzing anyways. You have, like, bulky psychic types that can just put stuff to sleep. Or you have, like, Pokemon that can just get, like, that are just really fast and hit really hard at crits all the time. So Shiinotic doesn't do anything, really. So ironically, out of all of these, I'm still going to say that Parasect is probably the best one. Because at least Parasect can put something to sleep. And it can potentially get up a Sword Stance, which it's a lot easier said than done, don't get me wrong. Unless you're like a really experienced Gen 1 player, or you are the ground back exactly, I wouldn't recommend using any of these. Which, you can't really for Amoonguss or Shiinotic. I know for Generation Jumbo Season 2, I said I want like the other poison types. But Amoonguss is just... it does nothing, it's just really annoying. So I don't know, like... maybe if my server like bullies me enough, I'll allow it. But for now, I'm leaning towards it not being included. I didn't bother making a tier list, but I guess I can quickly look at this right now. Starting with Amoonguss, it probably has a good match against Jolteon and Rhydon. Slowbro too. But then everything else is probably a could go either way or bad. But since Amoonguss can't hurt anything, does that mean that everything is just like bad or unwinnable? I'm gonna say probably. So yeah, this looks pretty good to this looks good to me. Yeah. This is what I would probably have to tier recipe for Amoonguss. There's just not really anything good about it. It can just roll like these three exactly, but that's it. Plenty of other grass types can do that way better. Shiinotic, on the other hand, it can't kill anything, but I'll still put it in good for these two, just because Strength Sap is incredibly annoying, but Tauros will just crit anyways. And I'm pretty sure nothing else really changes. And then it's just still just a tier list for Shiinotic as well, because everything else that's really good against Amoonguss is also good against Shiinotic. And for like stuff like Chansey, maybe you put even unwinnable. It's not like Chansey or Alakazam really care about losing an attack from Strength Sap. But what do you guys think? Do you think I'm being too hard on these guys? Do you think I needed to make replays for this one? Or do you guys think I made my point pretty clear? Are there any other Pokemon you think I should do a double episode for? They'll have to be Pokemon that are extremely similar. Like, if I ever get 1,000 subscribers, I'm just letting you know right now, my 1,000 subscriber special will be Paldean and Tauros. That will obviously be a video where it's all of them in one. It'll probably be a very big video too, if I'm being honest. But, I think that's everything. So, shorter video than normal. Sorry about that. But, like, if you could think of something better to say, like, be my guest. But until next time, this is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.